So I'm recording this meeting for the benefit of others. So if you go to Bhagavad Gita as it is, it's got 18 chapters. First one is observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So this is where Arjuna is lamenting. So it's also known as Arjuna Vishada Yoga. He doesn't want to fight because he's afraid that everybody will be killed. Once he starts fighting, he's a very powerful warrior. So he doesn't want to kill so many people, especially his relatives and friends. So in the chapter 2, it is Sankhya Yoga. Every chapter in the Bhagavad Gita is some form of yoga. The first one is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Second one is Sankhya Yoga, or contents of the Gita, like a numerical enumeration of all of the various topics that are to follow. Then chapter 3, we talk about Karma Yoga. Chapter 4, we talk about Jnana Yoga. Karma means action, and then yoga means connecting the soul to the super soul using action. And chapter 3 is using karma to connect the soul to the super soul. Chapter 4 is connecting soul to super soul using jnana or knowledge. Chapter 5 is Krishna karma or action, performing actions, but now you're performing with Krishna in the center. Chapter 6 is dhyana yoga. Dhyana means meditation, and here you can connect to Krishna using meditation. Chapter 7, from chapter 7 through 12, you get a lot more intimate knowledge about the Lord. So knowledge of the absolute truth. There are so many truths, right? Somebody may say, I am Indian, but that's not really an absolute truth. Why? Because you were an Indian, now you have an American citizenship, tomorrow you can give that up and become something else. So almost every truth in the world is relative. But now we are talking about absolute truth, that is Krishna. Then in chapter 8, we talk about how to attain the Supreme Lord. Chapter 9 is the most confidential knowledge. So 7 is confidential knowledge, 8 is more confidential knowledge, and 9 is most confidential knowledge. That's the sequence of ascendance of knowledge. And then in chapter 10, just like in chapter 7, we talked about knowledge of the absolute, we talk about the opulence of the absolute, which means we give various characteristics of the Supreme Lord. So how do you understand the Lord? And also characteristics of his devotees. How do you understand his devotees? And in chapter 11, we talk about the Vishwarupa or universal form. So Lord shows the Vishwarupa so that any Tom, Dick and Harry cannot claim that they are God. So if somebody claims they are God, then you should ask them to show their Vishwarupa. And if they cannot show, then they are not God. And then in chapter 12, we do devotional service like Bhakti Yoga. So this just like chapter 11 is Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Vishwarupa Sandarshana means showing the Vishwarupa, that yoga. And chapter 12 is Bhakti Yoga, devotion. Technically, you can stop the Bhagavad Gita at chapter 12 because that gives you all the essence. But then the Lord goes on to give other knowledge, other pieces of knowledge. So chapter 13 talks about the nature, material nature, who the enjoyer is, the living entity or the jiva is the enjoyer. So we are all jivas. And then what the consciousness is. So chapter 13 gives more jnana basically. Krishna is giving a lot of jnana. By chapter 12, you know all that is there to know about bhakti. And in chapter 13 onwards, he gives more jnana. Chapter 14, we talk in terms of 3 modes of material nature, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Like we are all sometimes in the mode of goodness, which is calm and being happy with what we get. But more likely we are in mode of passion because we are not calm. We want to achieve something in life. that is mode of passion. Puja, labh, pratishta. We want people to worship us. Puja. Labh, we want profit. And pratishta, we want name and fame. So this puja, labh, pratishta, or in English, profit, adoration, and distinction. So pad, puja, labh, pratishta, profit, adoration, and distinction. These are the characteristics of Rajogun or mode of passion. So technically, we should all be in mode of goodness, being human beings, but we get carried away into mode of passion. In the quest for achieving something, we get sucked into mode of passion. Then comes chapter 15, Yoga of the Supreme Person. So this is called Purushottama Yoga. Every one of these chapters is yoga, right? And then chapter 16 is divine and demoniac natures. Who is divine and who is a demon? Like just amongst us, you'll see some divine people, some demoniac people, some neutral people, like that. So Krishna gives you the science on how to identify who is divine and who is demoniac. In general, anybody who turns their face away from God are called demons. Somebody who turns their face towards God are called divine. And then when somebody is divine, it's not necessary they'll get liberated. So when somebody is divine, they'll just go to higher planetary systems or Swargaloka. Swargaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka. These are the higher planetary systems. So, and chapter 17, we talk about divisions of faith. So chapter 16 in Sanskrit is known as Daiva Asura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Vibhaga means division. Daiva Asura Sampad means qualities of divine and demoniac individuals. And chapter 17 is various divisions of faith. So the three modes again. In goodness, we have certain qualities. In passion, we have certain qualities. And in ignorance, we have certain qualities. And then in chapter 7, qualities as in our faith. Faith is also a quality. So that is in three different modes. So people who kill goats and sacrifice to Kali or Durga, they are in mode of ignorance. People who are always running after wealth, fame, name, honor, they are in the mode of passion. And people who are calm and satisfied with whatever they have, whether it be 6-bedroom home or just 1-room home, doesn't matter. They're just very satisfied, which is rare, but there are people like that. So goodness, passion, and ignorance. Faith is also in these three different patterns, in goodness, passion, and ignorance. And finally, chapter 18 is conclusion or perfection of renunciation. Renunciation means giving everything up. So every chapter in Bhagavad Gita is encouraging us to give something up, which is difficult, but you have to do it. If you don't give it up, it will be forcibly taken away from you at the time of death. Right? Death means what? All of your property is there, all of your bank balance is there, your kids are here, your relatives are here, but you are not there. You are forcibly evicted out of the position. So instead of forcibly being evicted, Krishna is teaching in all these chapters how to gradually give up. And finally, chapter 18, he says, okay, now give up everything. But to give up, you need some knowledge, right? If you don't have knowledge, you cannot give up. It's almost impossible to give up the attraction to the material world. There are so many challenges in the path of the soul to leave the material world and go to higher realms. So higher realms are like Swarga or heaven is not sufficient. That is also a material concept. So spiritual concept is even higher above the heavens. Right? It's called Vaikunta. Means Y means no. Kunta means anxiety. Right now we're all in anxiety. How many bills I have to pay? Who do I contact? If I don't do this, I might not get my response from the boss. I may not get the bonus. So continuously everybody is stressed out. So that is the definition of the material world. Everybody is stressed out. Spiritual world, on the other hand, no kunta or anxiety. Spiritual world means no anxiety. Okay. So questions, especially for the new person who joined today. Deepika, so questions, thoughts, comments?
No, I'm just looking forward to listen about the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much gave you the whole thing, and it will take the rest of your life to understand it at greater level of detail.
Yeah.
Right? So, but ask some questions like, what prompted you to come to this class, for example?
I just want to know what actually is the Bhagavad Gita, how it can teach what really the life is all about, and how a person can make the best use of the teachings that Krishna has taught to the human life.
Yeah. So you say human life. So where is
Yeah.
life?
Sorry?
Where else is life?
The present, now?
Anywhere, anytime, past, present, future.
Yeah.
So
I
what are the
think the
other
life,
life? Where else is life, right? What are the other life forms?
um, oh, the animals, the plants, water,
Mhm. So if there is a life in animals, why do people kill animals?
due to the ignorance.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Mhm.
So there is a life in water, Jalaja Navalakshani, 9 lakhs or 900,000 living species are in water.
Water.
Stavaram Dasavimsati. So 10 lakh people or 1 million are on earth like this. So there are how many species total?
8 lakh 40,000.
8 lakh 40,000 or 840. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, 8.4 million species as they say. Yeah.
Yeah.
8.4 million species or 8 lakh 40,000 species are there. So then where is the soul? I mean, is there one soul that is going through all these bodies or different souls?
Different souls,
Are they going through one body at a time, or I mean, like one body through
different body,
different bodies? So
different bodies.
why
Yeah.
why is the soul traveling between bodies?
Uh, no answer for that from me.
Doesn't matter. Anybody can answer the question. Why is the soul traveling in different bodies?
Due to the karma,
Karma. So what is karma?
the action we perform.
And why do we perform action?
It's just the way of life.
Yeah, it is the way of life. That's what the common answer is. But if you are told there is a different way to do karma, and then that will not put you into a new body, would you take that up?
Yes.
So what is that? What is that form, Sheshadev, where you will not get one more body?
I don't know.
No, that question was for Sheshadev.
Uh,
What is it that to do to not get another body, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to get out of the cycle of birth and death and go back to Godhead.
But how?
Yeah, doing a karma, doing activities that do not have karma, doing karmic activities.
And so take some examples of akarma.
Yeah, chanting, devotional service.
Yeah, so everything starts with chanting because our tongue is the most dangerous instrument in the body. So tongue wants to do two things. What are those two things?
Eat and talk.
Eat and talk. Excellent. So it looks like you're already having the knowledge that you can teach your other classmates. Eat and talk. Tongue does two things, eat and talk. So if you talk nonsense, you get into trouble. So how do you control your talking? By talking about God, talking about Krishna. And how do you control eating?
Eating prasadam.
Eating prasadam. Very good. Right? So the most important thing that we need to control is our tongue. If tongue is controlled and you eat limited manner, then your belly is controlled, your organs below that are controlled, everything is controlled. But if the tongue is not controlled, then everything in the body is put into trouble. So that is one of the reasons why we don't eat food cooked by people who are not into devotional line. So suppose if you go to a restaurant, for example, and they have nice dosas and idlis and this and that, you eat all those items, then you come home. Of course, the food is digesting, but the consciousness with which the cook prepared that food cannot be digested. It will stay in your body. If that fellow is criminal, then you'll get criminal thoughts. If that fellow is a crazy fellow, you'll get crazy thoughts. Modern science has no idea on how this consciousness works. But there is a lot of information in the Vedic scriptures on how consciousness works. So that's why, although I used to eat in restaurants a lot before, I stopped doing it because after coming into the bhakti line, I know from these scriptures that consciousness can be transmitted from person to person through food, through other things also, but very minor. Through food, consciousness transfers rapidly. So there are a class of people in India, they are called swapakis. Means they cook their own food. Because if you eat food cooked, they even don't want to cook the food, eat the food cooked by the spouse. Husband or wife cooks, they don't eat. Why? Because then the husband's consciousness or wife's consciousness will enter the food and that will contaminate their mind. That's a little extreme. When you are living in a family, obviously you'll have to eat each other's cooked food, like father cooking or mother cooking, son cooking or daughter-in-law cooking, daughter cooking or son-in-law cooking, doesn't matter. So in the family, to a certain degree, it is okay. But the consciousness is going to transfer. So if the other person is a donkey, then you'll get donkey consciousness. The other person looks human, but if they have donkey mentality and you are eating the donkey mentality, food cooked by them, then some of that donkey mentality will enter your consciousness. How this happens is a very, very big science. But suffice it to say that when you control your eating habits, your talking habits, your sleeping habits, then you can progress as a devotee. That's what yogis do. What are yogis? Definition of a yogi is controlled. Means his mind, he doesn't let his mind wander here and there. So this whole, and then somebody may say, oh, why should I control? So any reason why we should control all of our senses? Why can't we let them run wild? Why can't we let them run wild? Disha? Is Disha there? Okay. Gopal, why should we control?
To control the senses, Prabhuji.
Yeah, but why? Why should we control the senses?
Because let's say when we see something, we want to aspire. If we don't get it, we get angry. So that will lead to madness and desire increases and others.
Okay, that's one good answer. Anybody else can improve upon that answer?
Well, if we can't control our senses, then we will easily fall into the mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Then we won't be able to go back to Godhead.
Very good. Wonderful answer. Anisha is the youngest in the class. She's only what, 11, 12 years old?
I'm 12.
12, yeah. So great answer. Very good answer. Is there like a clap button on the Zoom? There is no clap. In WebEx, there is a clap button, so everybody can clap. Clap, clap, clap like that. In Zoom, there is no clapping button. Or maybe I don't know where it is. Okay. So here is a verse from the Upadesha Amrita. Upadesh means instruction. Amrita means nectar. Right? We all go to heaven to drink Amrit, nectar. So in the Sri Upadesha Amrita, Rupa Goswami, who is a saint, disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 520 something years ago, he said, Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam udarapastha vegam, etan vegan yo vishate tadhiraha, sarvam apimam prithvim cha shishyat. Vacha means speech. Vacho vegam. Vegam means the urge to speak. Manasaha krodha vegam. Manasa means mind and krodha means anger, the vegam or the urge to disturb your mind, the urge to become angry. Jihva vegam, tongue. Udara upastha vegam. Udara means belly and upastha means the organs that are below the belly, also known as genitals. So if somebody can control these, and as you can observe, your tongue, your belly, and the genitals are in a straight line in the human body. So if you cannot control the tongue, you cannot control your belly. If you cannot control your belly, you cannot control your genitals, like that. So if somebody can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, mind will say, I want this kind of makeup, I want this kind of car, I want this. So if you can control those mind's demands, the actions of anger, right? When you're angry, you feel like going punching somebody, doing something crazy, right? One of my colleague at work, he got angry. He was in his garage, so he hit the garage wall. Next day, he came with a bandage to office. I said, Arey Baba, what happened? He said, yeah, I got hurt. I said, how did you get hurt? I hit the garage wall. So he got so angry, he hit the garage wall in his own home. But the foolish fellow, now his hand, he's in pain for the next month. Right? So the actions of anger, one should control or be able to control the actions of anger. Such a person can make disciples all over the world. Like such a person can, such a self-tolerant, self-controlled spiritual guru can make disciples all over the world. So that is what the essence of that particular verse is. Okay, so everybody switch on your cameras. Starting with me. You don't have cameras in your... Okay, Bajaj family, there is Anisha, okay? And there is the little one, Devesh. Gopal. Radha doesn't have a camera. Deepika, you have a camera? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there is Deepika. Okay, good. So, Where are your parents, Anisha? They still there or they're somewhere out?
Yeah, they're out.
Okay. They went out. Okay. How about your grandparents?
Yeah.
Okay. Priya Mataji is there.
And my Prabhu also is there.
Okay.
He's
Prabhu is there on
over
the dining
there.
table. Okay. 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 Now let's open it for discussion. How do you control your tongue? Right? We heard that it is important to control. We just read this shloka.
Yeah.
Vacho vegam manasa krodha.
By eating only prasadam.
Okay. So how do you eat only prasadam? How do you do that?
By offering to God and then eating.
Yeah. So which means you don't eat restaurant food.
Whatever we cook. Yes. Whatever we cook, we have to offer and then eat.
Right. So restaurant food is not offered, and you cannot eat unoffered food. Like you cannot take the food on your plate and offer it because it has already been eaten by the previous customer. Right. So the first bhoga should be given to God. It may sound very simple, but very difficult to do it.
Yes,
Manasa krodha vegam. How do you control this manasa, mind and anger? How do you control those? Sheshadeva Prabhu?
By chanting.
Yeah, okay. Anisha said very nicely. By chanting Hare Krishna. So how much are you chanting Hare Krishna, Anisha?
I'm not chanting a lot. I should probably keep chanting.
Okay, you should probably chant a lot. Because this is about you, right? I mean, nobody can do it for you. Just like if you don't eat, or if you eat, it doesn't matter to me, right? If you don't eat, you'll be hungry. If you eat, you'll not be hungry. So you have to do it for yourself. Same thing with spiritual activity. So you have to do it by yourself.
I have one question.
Yes.
So sometimes some people, what they will have the issue is they keep on repeating some unwanted things or something like that. So does it have any does it be anything that is related to the food that we consume and the way of talking? Are those two are linked?
Yes, definitely they are linked. Definitely they are linked. Because your food decides your consciousness, and your consciousness is manifested in speech. Right? Okay. So you cannot unlink the two. They are linked very tightly. What you put through your eyes, what you put through your ears, what you put through your nose, what you put through your mouth, they are all going to impact how you behave. Right? If you watch everyday violence movies, then you'll become violent at some point. You cannot avoid it. If you hear bad words all the time, at some point you'll behave bad. You cannot avoid it. So what you put these senses... Yeah, go ahead.
So will it be possible for a person who is very good, who remains calm and silent, and even though he is staying with different kinds of mentalities, either that may be good or bad?
No, they may remain calm and silent, but internally they may be contaminated. Right? You heard bad words.
Okay.
Your mind is thinking along the bad lines. You may be silent, but doesn't mean that you are great, or it doesn't mean that you are very good.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have purification is internal, right? It is internal to our heart. Whether somebody can see external symptoms or not doesn't matter. The symptoms are there internally. When it becomes excessive, then you will see external symptoms, like somebody may pull out a gun and shoot somebody. Somebody may hit their spouse or kids. So it will get manifested in some shape or form. But if it is mild, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It is there internally. within us. And we all go through this. Nobody on the planet is immune from this. So we need this vaccination that can make us immune from these type of behavior. And that vaccination is, like Anisha said, chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So when you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, then you are vaccinated to a certain degree. For complete vaccination, then you have to do what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, like towards the end, renunciation, we have to give up. However, in the family life, we are unable to give up anything. That's a challenge. So we do it slowly. If you are very smart, you will do it in one shot. But if you are not very smart, then you do it slowly.
Okay.
Other questions? Any other questions, thoughts? Okay, so let's get back to our screen sharing. So why do you think there are divine and demoniac natures in the world? Why can't everybody be divine?
Limited free will, Prabhuji. Limited free will.
Okay, so what does limited free will mean?
So basically, like for example, right now I have a choice whether I should listen to your class or I should just go and watch TV. So it's my choice what I choose. And even if I'm listening to the class, I can choose not to listen and do whatever I feel like doing. So that means that I have a limited choice even during this class also. So demoniac nature is because I don't like to eat sattvic food. I like only non-sattvic food. I am associating with those people. So I am forcing myself and I'm creating a culture for myself which is non-sattvic. So I will get the opportunity. I will see some Hare Krishna going on Sankirtan and distributing prasadam, but I will say no, I like non-sattvic food better.
Yeah. So it is a choice. You can be divine, that's a choice. You can be demoniac, that is also a choice. You are exercising your free will. You have an option all the time. In any second of your life, we have a choice of either surrendering to Krishna or going away from Krishna. And it so happens that most of the people are going away from Krishna. And the current social structure is also such a way that it encourages you to go away from God. Right? You are kept so busy at work. You are kept so busy in the entertainment centers like movies or sports or something, so that there is no time to do the real thing, which is devotion to God. And now with Facebook and Twitter and all these different social medias, TikTok, all of your time is consumed there. Even materially, you cannot be very successful because today's economic structure is such that it's always distracting you. So the only option is we have to disengage from the world to the extent possible. It's not like disengage means you stop eating or buying groceries or cooking. Matter of fact, cooking is good because then you can offer it to Krishna and eat karma-free diet. But unless we disengage to a certain degree, it is very difficult because the modern structure of this society is designed in such a way that you can forget Krishna for a long time and not do anything. Okay, one more question. So why is the soul put into the three modes of material nature?
So soul is not put into the three modes of material nature. Basically, it is entrapped by these because we have a desire to have a body, that kind of a body. When last life, let's say, I always, I mean, even in this life, if I'm always meditating on some particular thing, I like only if I like good thing, or if I have done some good chanting, at least one round or something, then I will be given chance to take a birth in the devotee family. So I will get that body, which will give me to the that mode of material nature. So I can access that. So
Even if you are born in a,
according to the
even if you are born in a devotee family, you are still affected by the three modes. To a lesser degree, but you are still affected.
So it is according to karma, Prabhuji. Until unless we go to the Krishna conscious stage, where we are thinking we are doing everything for Krishna, these modes will trap whatever family we are in. So somehow I think that soul is away from this, but the body, the covering. If I have a tiger body, I will relish meat. If I have a human body, I have the intelligence, I can relish kirtan. So those three kinds of modes of material nature will will influence according to my body taste.
Yeah, that's okay. But how do you, why are these three modes acting on us?
See, it's Maya's way of testing us or purifying us or ensuring not everybody who's ineligible should not go back to Godhead. So it's Maya's way of ensuring only the right folks go back.
Yeah, so go back. But why did we even come here in the first place? To be trapped in this?
Because you wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. We wanted to lord it over something. And then Krishna is given an opportunity to go back and rule over the material world.
So, what does it mean to enjoy independent of Krishna?
For yourself, like you believe that you're the enjoyer of something and not giving it to the supreme enjoyer.
Okay. So, Deepika, any questions?
Time and Prakriti.
Yeah, go ahead, Gopal.
It's time and Prakriti acts on the three modes of material nature. Eternal time and
Prakriti. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit more advanced concept. Okay, so Deepika, any questions on that one? Okay. So, why was the Bhagavad Gita given to us? Why did Krishna speak it?
So that we can come out of this material modes of nature and we can focus on the real goal of life, which is like becoming the servitor of Krishna, serving in Krishna consciousness.
So Krishna gave this knowledge so that we can come back to him. But then why is vast majority of the population not interested in going back to him?
Because we want to enjoy what you said a few minutes ago. We want to enjoy independent of Krishna. We want to be our own controller. We don't have faith in Krishna. We are envious of Krishna or whosoever is lording over the nature. So we want to lord over in our own little thing. That's why we are not interested.
Yeah, so we are envious. That is the word I was looking for. We are envious of Krishna. Envious means we are very angry. Why Krishna should do this? Why can't I do this? right? Krishna is dancing in certain way, is riding the chariot in a certain way. Why can't I do it? So we are all imitating God. We are all imitating God, trying to become something that we are not. So this tendency to imitate God is there in all of us. Sometimes the tendency of imitation becomes competition. So sometimes you want to compete with God. Oh, God did these things. I want to do something better. That's why you are building the Teslas, you are sending the rocket to space, hoping to compete with God, but that's not easy. So soul is in this situation. It left the spiritual world, it forgot when it left, and while in the material world, it is always trying to compete with God. Maybe I'm better than the next guy. So that competition to God will also manifest in different forms, like competition for material resources, so many other things in the material world. So it's not easy to read the Bhagavad Gita and understand the Bhagavad Gita, because the problem is not with Gita, not with Krishna or God, but the problem is with us. We want to enjoy independent of Krishna. And this has been happening for millions of lifetimes. So we don't even know when we started having this attitudinal problem. But when we correct it, then we can go back to the spiritual world. Okay, I'll open it for discussion, thoughts, comments.
I have one question.
Mhm.
So is the mind the more powerful, or the soul is the one that has more power compared to the mind?
Soul is very powerful, but right now it is trapped in these three modes, and therefore it appears that the mind is very powerful. So if you discipline the mind, then the true quality of the soul will come out, right? The true quality is now hidden. The true quality has been covered up. So we are all spiritual entities, but our spiritual quality is covered right now. Just like if you take your mother's gold ring and then go play in the backyard with mud. When you bring that gold ring back after half an hour of playing, it is now dirty. It looks gray. So it doesn't look like gold ring anymore. It just looks like some piece of metal found in the backyard. But if you wash it again with nice soap and then wipe it with a good cloth, again it will start shining. Same gold, it is good, it became dirty, again it became good.
Yeah.
Similarly, we are all spiritual beings. But because we have associated or hung around material consciousness for so long, especially, right, if you talk to your colleagues and all their material consciousness ideas will seep into your brain. So although you are a soul, now you think in terms of material thoughts. And so each one of us is teaching the other person. Like if you read too much newspapers, you'll see that pretty much whatever is there in the newspaper, you start thinking about that product. That is by design. That is the whole advertising industry. The soul has nothing to do with any of these things. So you need to first get understanding of that information from throughout the Bhagavad Gita. And when you try to implement that, then you will see the results.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Anisha?
Oh, Prabhuji, somehow I wanted clarification on that modes of material nature bind the soul also.
Modes of material nature are binding the soul right now, but through the medium of the body.
Okay.
Right? So the body is your friend and it's your enemy also. The mind is your friend and it is your enemy. Arjuna actually asked this question, is my mind my friend or my enemy? And he says, I cannot control my mind, O Krishna. Give me some advice. So soul cannot be bound. But because of our desire to rebel against Krishna, God, now we are put into this material body, and material body works in these three modes.
But Prabhuji, we go up and down. Like even if we come to the mode of goodness, right? We still fall down. Like how can we make it steady? Like yourself, right? You have been steadily teaching Bhagavad Gita or doing, or let's say Harivilas Maharaj. So how do we reach that mode of goodness and transcend it and reach that mode? So what's the secret sauce?
Practice. Right? So when you're chanting every day, it becomes second nature to you. You feel like chanting more because you're chanting and associating with Krishna's holy name. There will be gradual purification. But then chanting alone is not sufficient. You need to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, teach it to others, live by the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? That's why we are doing this course. So as to orient you to the vast amount of literature that is available, and then use it appropriately.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions? We'll have a short class today. So today we did a quick overview of the Bhagavad Gita, like we went up and down, and you get the idea, right? So it starts with the soul, then karma, jnana, dhyana, then bhakti, then it gives information about the different qualities of matter. So Bhagavad Gita talks about matter, spirit, and the difference between the two. Talks about matter as well as spirit, not just matter, not just spirit. Radha Mataji, I'm in Redmond Farm. Would you like, I can connect via Zoom instead of dial to show the farm. Yeah, you can connect and show it to your classmates. Go ahead and connect. So Radha Mataji is at the Redmond Farm. She's going to give a brief tour to all of us.
And Prabhuji, any homework, anything?
Oh, I gave you homework last time. Remember? You guys are all going to present.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. You want to go first, Mataji? Presenting?
No, Prabhuji. No.
Anisha, did you prepare your presentation?
I prepared it, but I don't want to go first.
Gopal? Sheshadeva, did you prepare?
Sahana has chosen the verse. She started preparing. It's not complete, Prabhuji.
What is there? You read the sloka, you read the purport, and you give us a little commentary. You want to go first?
Not today, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Anisha, you are the star. You can go. You are first and you are the last two.
Okay, should I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, 1 second. Okay.
So you'll make your mom proud. Nobody is willing to do it, but you are doing it. Share your screen. There is a share screen green button in the middle of Zoom. Okay, very good.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So can you read the I don't know.
Right.
So I did 14.9. Okay. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati.
Okay, wait for us to repeat. No, wait for us to repeat.
Oh.
Sattvam sukhe sanjayati.
Tattvam sukhe
Tattvam sukhe
sanjayati.
sanjayati.
Okay, go ahead.
Rajaha karmani bharata.
Raja
Karmani Bharata.
Jnanam avrityatu tamaha.
Jnanam avrityatu tamaha.
tamaha.
Pramade sanjayati uta.
Pramade.
Pramade sanjayati uta.
Very good pronunciation, Anisha. Okay, read the translation and explain.
Okay, so, O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness. So this kind of explains what the three modes of material nature do to someone. So like, if you're in these modes, this is what will happen to you.
So what will happen? What will happen in mode of passion?
So in the mode of passion, you'll let me think. So you won't have Krishna consciousness, but you'll want to like earn money and get like a new car or something, or a big house. That's in the mode of passion, because you want more and more things. In the mode of goodness, it says in the translation, it conditions one to happiness. So you will be happy. You'll be happy with what you have, and you will be happy with what you get. And you will be in Krishna consciousness.
Very good.
And in the mode of ignorance, you will not know anything about Krishna consciousness. You will be really bad. You'll hurt yourself and you'll hurt others, so you won't be doing any good. And as it says, it'll bind one to madness. So it will be very hard to go back up to the mode of goodness.
Very nice. Awesome. Very good. Now, can you explain the purport?
So should I read it?
Yeah, read and explain. More than reading, explaining.
Okay. So a person in the mode of goodness is satisfied by his work or intellectual pursuit, just as a philosopher, scientist, or educator may be engaged in a particular field of knowledge and may be satisfied in that way. A man in the mode of passion may be engaged in fruitive activity. He owns as much as he can and spends for good causes. Sometimes he tries to open hospitals, give to charity, institutions, etc. These are signs of one in the mode of passion. And in the mode of ignorance, and the mode of ignorance covers knowledge. In the mode of ignorance, whatever one does is good and neither for him nor for anyone. So this it explains what happens in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So as I said, in the mode of goodness, they'll be satisfied with their work. They'll be happy the way they are. They wouldn't want more, and they will be in Krishna closer to Krishna consciousness. And someone in the mode of passion.
Actually, let me correct you there. So, mode of goodness is the stepping stone to get to Krishna consciousness. So, in Krishna consciousness, it is pure goodness. So, you are given going above goodness. Okay. I see your next slide there. And in the next slide, you said to go back to Godhead, you need to be in the mode of goodness. It should read, you should be in the mode of pure goodness. Right?
Okay.
Go to your next slide, page down. Yeah. So the last bullet point, you should say you need to be in the mode of pure goodness.
Okay. I'll fix that.
Okay. Thank you. So how did Anisha do? Everybody, scale of 1 to 10.
Very nice, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
She tried her level best.
Yes, yes.
You-
Now,
we can clap using reactions, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
huh? Where,
We
where
can
are the
clap using
reactions in Zoom?
reactions.
Oh, reactions, okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Prabhuji.
So now everybody, you have a big challenge because you have to do better than Anisha next time. Right? Everybody has to do better than Anisha next time. Agreed?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So you have two things. Next time everybody is going to present in the class, 5 minutes each. So we have about 6 people. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then Priya Mataji 7 and Prabhu 8, Girish 9. 9 people. So 9 times 5 is 45 minutes. So next time we'll spend most of the class in you going through your presentations. And then in a month's time, you need to be ready with your drama. Remember, end of August, you need to be remember drama. So one drama with Anisha and Devesh, one with Disha and Girish, like that. You know who your teams are. I need your drama recording. You have to send me your recording. Okay. With that said, we'll all see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.